Hi everyone, I've decided to give Alchemist Ladle a try, and it's actually pretty good. I'll quickly go over some advantages and disadvantages of both Alchemist Ladle and Wrongwarp. With Alchemist Ladle, you'll get a lot more cast speed due to the skilling to intelligence, and with that you gain a lot more damage and ward because you're able to get more ward from Twisted Heart and from your passives and your skills. It also allows you to apply Frailty and chance to shred armor on spell hits. Disadvantage to Alchemist Ladle is that although the ward gain is really good, it is actually less significant when compared to immunity at higher corruption. At lower corruption it doesn't really matter, but what I mean by that is that you can only scale ward to a certain extent, where immunity is basically immunity. You basically do not take any damage, even though enemies might deal more and more damage to you at higher corruption. With Wrongwarp, the advantages would be the fact that you can gain immunity for 1 second, and also it has crowd control with it has a second crowd control on top of your snap freeze, so you can stun them with teleport and then use snap freeze to stun them. The teleport is random though, so you are teleported to a random location. If you can teleport to a location that you choose, then Wrongwarp would be a godly item. The disadvantage to Wrongwarp is that you do not gain any chance to shred armor and chance to apply frailty, and you get less damage and you also get less ward because you do not have that much cast speed, and you have to use a Fire Frost Claw, and you will not be able to put points into Slasher Doom to get more ward. Also, it is probably a lot more expensive to get a full gear for Wrongwarp compared to Alchemist Ladle, because you actually need chance to apply frailty and chance to apply shred armor on your gear, on your other items. I do not have a perfect gear for Wrongwarp or Alchemist Ladle. I actually have pretty shitty gear for now. I will talk a little bit more about my build later, but in my Alchemist Ladle I have T7 cast speed, T5 spell critical strike chance, and T5 chance to shotgun hit. I do have increased spell crit that would be doubled if I have more than 300 max mana, but I do not have that. I'm just trying this out without the perfect gear. We can dive into 5500 corruption bonus and give it a try. So without the immunity, we have to play kind of defensively, because we do not have immunity that would back us up if to escape projectiles or to dodge enemies. We would have to flame rush out of the way in order to not get hit. Also, at higher corruption, the monsters do not get instantly killed, so it would be much harder. And there we have it. So I did die a few times using this build. Partly because I'm probably not accustomed to the fact of using Flame Rush instead of Teleport, but generally I find it harder at higher corruption with Mad Alchemist Ladle compared to Wrongwarp. I mean, it's easier to use Mad Alchemist Ladle at lower corruption since you have a lot more damage than Wrongwarp, but at higher corruption, even when you have higher damage with Mad Alchemist Ladle, the enemies wouldn't die and they can actually hit you. So now we have changed back into Wrongwarp. Let's try a mono and see how we perform. The main difference between Wrongwarp and Mad Alchemist Ladle is that Mad Alchemist Ladle you will have to Flame Rush away when you are getting hit, and in Wrongwarp build you can press Teleport and avoid their attack, and basically you are also stunning them too. Let's go over the Mad Alchemist build real quick. I have T7 cast speed, T5 spell critical strike chance, T5 chance to shotgun hit. Mad Alchemist Ladle does not provide as much mana as Wrongwarp, so I'm actually under 300 mana, so I do not get the benefits from my Unstable Core with the increased spell crit. I also changed my idol to chance to ignite on hit and cold resistance. So chance to ignite on hit on the Mad Alchemist Ladle is actually better than chance to shock on hit. I'm gonna explain why later. So notice that I keep Flame Ward. So Flame Ward, I keep Flame Ward because it's actually irrespective of any build. You use Flame Ward mainly for Astonish. You don't really use it because you are using Wrongwarp or Mad Alchemist Ladle. I keep it because it provides a lot of defensive measure. The only thing you really need to change is your Traverser skill. It's no longer Teleport, it's going to be Flame Rush, so you just change your Teleport into Flame Rush. I expect my Flame Rush to be really defensive, so let's go over it real quick. I put 3 points into Blazing Flux. It provides us with 9% increased cooldown recovery speed. 3 points into Runic Eclipse, which gives us a lot of less damage taken, especially against DOTs. 3 points into Lunar Protection, which gives us Ward per second and a lot of Ward after Flame Rush. I put 2 points into Fiery Overload, which gives us a Frenzy buff for 2 seconds after exiting Flame Rush. I also put 3 points into Celestial Guidance, which allows us to keep the buff duration of Fiery Overload and Lunar Protection and Runic Eclipse after Flame Rush, depending on how long we cast our Flame Rush for. So I put 3 points into Solar Rush. This allows us to travel further with Flame Rush. I put 3 points into Smolder and Burn so that I can spec into Fire Eater, which is why I was saying why chance to ignite on hit is better than chance to shock on hit, because you can gain a lot of ward when you pass through enemies. At higher corruption, the enemies do not die instantly, so you actually get a lot of benefits from this. I did put 1 point into Blaze Spawn because there wasn't really anything else that you would want to put your points on, so that's why I put 1 point into Blaze Spawn. And for Frostclaw, I did put 1 more point into Shiver Shell because now it's a lightning skill. I have 1 more point, so we have 27 points in Frostclaw. Theoretically, this could work with a lot less points, but since we have the points, we are going to spec 1 point into Shiver Shell. For passives, I did make several changes. So this change is actually unrelated to this build. I did change I did remove 5 points from Knowledge of Destruction, and I put 1 point to Reactive Void and 4 points into Warden. This is mainly for Void retention. We don't really need Knowledge of Destruction. The increased critical strike chance is lackluster. So with Sorcerer Tree, I removed points from Mana Shell and I removed 2 points from Riftbolt because since Frostclaw is now a lightning skill, we do not need our we don't need a lot of lightning damage leech because we have lightning leech from Frostclaw as well as spark charges. I also removed 6 points from Runemaster Cataclysm. This allows us to put 5 points into Brand of Deception and 7 points into Celestial Doom. Since our Frostclaw is now a lightning skill, we can now apply Brand of Deception, and also with Celestial Doom we get a lot more spell damage and ward gain when we are hitting branded bosses or rare enemies. So we gain ward from Frostclaw, Elemental Novas and Spark Charges as well, so that's a lot of ward that we will gain when we hitting branded bosses or rare enemies. So now let's go to Wrongwarp. So I made the change back to Wrongwarp, and then I did change my idol from change to ignite on hit and cold resistance to a increased health and flat health idol. As for my passives, I remove all the points from Celestial Doom and Brand of Deception, and I have the Runeward Inferno put back on because we are now using Fire Frostclaw. And I put 1 point back into Rune of Dilation, and I put 2 more points into Riftbolt because we are not doing as much lightning damage. We are actually doing a lot of lightning damage, but because Spark Charges has a delay, you wouldn't get that leech until after some time, so you would want to have a little more points into Riftbolt. Because we are not putting points into Brand of Deception and Celestial Doom, we can put a lot of points into Reactive Void, Warden, and Silver Rune. So with this, you actually gain a significant amount of Void, 8.7 Void per 10 health, every 6 seconds. If you drop below 70% health, because there is a delay before you can leech health from Spark Charges, because you will not be getting any leech from Fire Frostclaw. You would only get it like after, and there's a delay for Spark Charges. You can trigger this a lot more often. So I also want to talk about the changes that I made to the Wrongwarp build since our 5000 corruption video. We respect Snap Freeze into teleport during mapping, and the reason for that is because you get mirror images from teleport and they can taunt your enemies for you. So you put 4 points into Resonant Plasma simply for unexpected copy and decoy position. You put 2 more points into Uncontrolled Duplication so that you get more additional mirror images. It causes your mirror image to be 2 seconds lesser because mirror images has a duration of 10 seconds, but that's alright. I put 5 points into Crystalline Passage, and that allows us to have more armor and cold resistance as well. I put 4 points into Time Dilation, which allows us to get cold resistance and armor to last longer. I put 3 points into Elemental Affinity to get more elemental damage after we cast Teleport. I did not put points into Ether Barrier or Out of Mind or Stable Bubble because it actually takes a lot of points of Ether Barrier to spec into both. And Ether Barrier is like, I would say less impactful. Time Dilation allows us to cast Teleport more. We don't have to cast Teleport every 4 seconds. We can cast it like every 6 to 7 seconds and we will still be fine. I also made changes to Elemental Novas. I did not spec any points into Elemental Expanse or Arcana Elementarum. Instead, I put points into Survival of the Victor and Arcane Protection, which allows us to get a little more ward and ward retention on kill. So I also did make a change to my helmet. I did not have a 2 LP Prismatic Gaze, so I was using Bone Claimer, but actually Prismatic Gaze is better. Ideally, we would want to use a 2 LP. I just had a 1 LP. So Prismatic Gaze allows us to almost cap our critical strike chance, and that provides us with a lot more damage, and also it does provide us with a lot of ward from Jagged Veil, because now our spark charges will always crit, and because most of our damages come from spark charges, having our spark charge almost 100%, almost at 100% critical strike chance is actually better. To summarize, the choice of using whether Ladle or Wrongwarp is totally up to you. It's totally personal preference. Wrongwarp allows you to gain immunity for 1 second and give you a little more crowd control, as well as 4 mirror images that taunt enemies for you. It deals less damage and has less ward, but immunity protects you from any damage for 1 second. If you have Mad Alchemist Ladle, you gain more damage and more ward, but you do not have immunity. You have more effective HP with Mad Alchemist Ladle, but at higher corruption, when enemies hit you, they deal a lot more damage, and Wrongwarp immunity scaling would be a lot better in that sense. And also the taunt and everything. However, at lower corruption, Mad Alchemist Ladle is a clear favorite because you would be able to deal a lot more damage and you can kill monsters and they wouldn't be able to hit you at all. But at higher corruption, even using Ladle, you wouldn't be able to instantly kill an enemy, so that's why Wrongwarp will be preferred. But again, you wouldn't really be grinding to 5,000 corruption or more, so most of the time Mad Alchemist Ladle would allow you to kill enemies instantly. So that's why it would be a favorite at lower corruption. At higher corruption, Wrongwarp would be better.